Hi. So here we are again. And I asked myself a rhetorical question. Where should I start my story? So on the other previous episode, um, you saw me posting all sweaty after the morning exercise in the gym. Now I'm thinking what should be the focus of this episode. And I decided I can start anywhere, but let me start from the beginning. I joined class one in 1964, the year Kenya attained its independence and internal self rule. And if you assume that children were joining Standard One when they were 6 years old, so it means that I was born in 1958. And what I remember very well is the a few episodes while I was still at home. I was born at the St. Joseph Missionary Hospital. I don't know whether I was named after the hospital or the hospital was named after me. I really need to find out. But I know that I was the eldest grandson to my grandfather, who was called Benjamin. So Benjamin, I think, is the one who gave me my name, because if you remember biblically, Jacob had four wives, and his wife Rachel, whom he had wanted to marry first before he was convinced to marry Leah, had Rachel had two children. The eldest was Joseph, and the last one was Benjamin. And Benjamin, so he was Joseph's younger brother, but his name was not originally Benjamin. I forgot what it was, but I think Rachel, I say, the child of my pain, because I think she died during childbirth, or immediately after that. So essentially, Benjamin, my grandfather, named me after his brother. Hence, they named him Benjamin, and me Joseph. But nobody calls me that unless you're working with the government, or with immigration. You're with the police, with immigration. Everybody calls me Joe for the longest time ever. So that's what I go by. But from like about 6 years ago, we were in the village with my brother's family, and one of his grandchildren, named after him and also popularly called Ryan. We were there in my living room. We were having breakfast, and I was chatting him up, chatting the other grandchildren and everybody. And normally I talk a lot instead of eating. And he told me, Babu Joe, wacha kelele mingi, we kula. And the name stuck. I think essentially that was to differentiate between Babu Noah and Babu Joe. My brother's family are in Mombasa. And in Mombasa, you will say Baba Mkubwa, Baba Mdogo, Babu Mkubwa, Babu Mdogo, like that. So hence this name has stuck, and that's what I'm called now. My grandchildren call me Babu. So 1964, I joined the class one at that time it was called Kisauni Holy Ghost Mission HGM school. So it was a school run by the Roman Catholic Church, Coast Diocese, under Bishop Butler. At that time, he was a Muzungu bishop. And at that time you had to put your hand to your head, and if your finger touched your ear, then it was assumed that you are 6 years or older. But my fingers did not touch my ear. But the headmaster, Mr. Onyona, Francis Onyona, I remember his name, allowed me to be enrolled in class one. My father had a grocery shop, and later on I learned, Mr. Nyona, amongst other teachers and a lot of people, were running a credit uh, in my father's shop. So they would come and take things on credit, and my father would write on a large black book, and they would pay at the end of the month. So I don't know whether that had an influence on me being allowed to join class one. Anyway, so I joined class one alongside people who have become my lifelong friends, like Joseph Sano Foembe, Joseph Odhiambo, and Mzamilu, and lots of other people that, they will come obvious to you as the story develops. So one of the things that I remember earliest was wearing shorts with suspenders, and we had to carry mags. There were no plastic mags those years, so it was an enamel mag, and you tie it in the loop in our shorts, and you be canned thoroughly if you didn't carry those mags. Those mags were used to give us milk. So Nyayo milk was not the first time. The Catholics, Roman Catholic schools had a feeding program of giving the children milk during break time. It was punishment if you're found either with lemon or with sugar. You had to drink the milk like that. So my very early thoughts was us being taught number work, language, and language was mother tongue. And because this was in Kisumundogo in Mombasa, Kongowea, mother tongue was essentially Kiswahili. That is class 1, class 2, and class 3. Then class 4 was upper primary, class 4 through class 7 was upper primary. So I'll pick on that later on. Now, let me go back to my family. I am the fourth born in my mother's, from my mother's womb. The eldest, Rispa, died in infancy, and the second one, Rose Eba, died in her mid-50s. Then the third born, Monica, also died in her mid-50s. And so I'm the fourth born. But I am the first born son. Now, as people now say, it gives you a lot of responsibilities as a deputy parent and things like that. I was never a deputy parent. My sisters were. But I was involved in my father's shop business from very early on in life. So it was my father and I and his brother Wilson in Mombasa up to, I think, about 1965. So for about 2 years before my mother came to join us with the rest of the family in Mombasa, where my third follower, Elizabeth, was born in the year 1965. So then my mother, she was also keeping house and buying fish and frying fish to sell in the evening for shoppers, and also brewing changa to sell. My father, apart from the shop, he also ran a bar. I remember on the shop, it was written Musa Owiti Grocery Store. So, you had to write, it was part of the municipality requirements that you had to write on the storefront, whether it was a grocery store or it was a bar or things like that. And just so you know, shops were not allowed to open on Sundays. They had to close. Shops also close around lunchtime for about an hour or so for people to take a siesta. And also during public holidays, shops had to remain closed. So essentially, that is how we started life in Mombasa. That's enough for today. So catch me in another episode where I will tell you how school was like. Thank you.